This is a one-speaker meeting. Please welcome our speaker tonight, Theresa F.
Like I'm gonna pass out. Good evening. My name's Theresa. I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Theresa.
Hi. So many familiar faces. Can I lower this a little bit? They feel so short. I'm so tiny, people. Hi. I'm always so nervous. Goodness gracious. And I speak a lot. And I just feel like I was just sitting there going, could I not have to have my heart coming out of my chest so bad? And I get nervous that we're going to have to call the paramedics because I'm going to pass out or something. Jeez. That is God just coming in, and I swear there are things I want to talk about. I always have to stop and pause. I am just so honored and grateful to be asked to speak in the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. What a humbling privilege. And it's also good to be here at home. I've been traveling a lot, you guys. I haven't been here in California. I've been going every single weekend all over the United States and Canada, and oh my goodness, I've been seeing the world through Alcoholics Anonymous. I want to thank the lady who took that cake. You know, I definitely identify with you. I've had the most amazing year, just as yours. And I am grateful, but for the grace of God that I am sober today, thank you. Oh, my goodness. I want to welcome anyone who is new and tell you that the program works if you work it. I always love to share with the newcomer that there is a moment of silence and prayer that takes place in every meeting all over the world, and that is for you. But for the grace of God, you have been lifted and brought into the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. That was not your idea, and you don't get credit for that one. They always told me, don't forget your last drunk. Don't you ever forget your last drunk. And you keep coming back and let us love you till you can learn to love yourself. I'm grateful that they never told me to stay. And I know people are saying it today, but they told me don't ever say stay. We got huge egos, major trips. If we say stay and you go out, then you won't come back because you'll be embarrassed. So we say, just keep coming back. They say don't leave 5 minutes before the miracle happens. We don't know when that is, so you got to keep coming to find out. And I share with you what they told me. Sit down, shut up, and listen. You don't know nothing. You don't. Get dumb real quick, newcomers. That's what I asked you to do, get dumb really quick. And to the old-timers in the house, oh my goodness, I love you so much. I still want what you have. I still watch the old-timers. I watch you breathe together. I watch you keep life simple. I watch you to continue to show up at meetings. You sweep the floors. You put up the chairs. You do the coffees. You extend your hand. I be watching you. And I ask you to keep coming back because I need you. And I always want to make the old-timers so proud. I figure the best thing that I can do is to give back what you so freely gave to me. I'm going to share in a general way what it used to be like, what happened, and what it's like now. Some of you know my story, but I can't change it. I was born addicted to this lovely disease called alcoholism. I am truly a miracle. My mother drank and used when I was in her belly. I came out of her womb asking for it, and it was put in my gums and on my bottle, and I drank every day, all day, for 25 years of my life until I came into these rooms 17 years ago. Everyone in my family has died as a result of this disease. Whether it's kidney failure, cirrhosis of the liver, falling down, cracking your skull open, blowing your brains out, getting shot, ODing, burning up because you dropped your cigarette, I got the list. Man, I didn't know a life other than that life. I'm a Puerto Rican girl from New York City. I talk fast and hard. Grew up in the projects. We're proud that we got the Bacardi factory. I was just in Puerto Rico, and that's exactly where my cousins took me. We go there like Disneyland. I was just there. I fell asleep in the car, and they woke me up. Terry, get up. Terry, get up. We here. Where are we? The Bacardi factory. I'm like, man, I don't drink no more. Like my cousin says, we still haven't realized that our national flag is not a car ornament. Like, Boricua. Proud people. Proud people. You know, and thinking about being in Puerto Rico recently, and I say how everyone in my family are alcoholics and or addicts, it's just amazing the level of denial. And we're so caught up in that life that we have no clue that there's anything wrong with it. I remember my cousins are driving with a beer in his lap and a joint in his mouth, and I couldn't tell them not to do it. I was scared what would happen if they were sober. They don't know how to drive sober. I was like, yo, let's get a six-pack and let's get on the road, because I don't know what's going to happen to them, so they don't know how to drive sober. We probably have an accident if I ask them not to drink. We had a lot of parties in my house. I got used to the drama, the chaos, the fights, the insanity, normal. My playground was the clubs. I love the clubs, the ambiance. I'm a New York girl, Studio 54, Saturday Night Fever. Ooh, ooh, hey. Those were good times, really. Good times. I thought it was wonderful. Life was great, despite me being physically abused, sexually abused by both men and women, emotionally abused, verbally, everything you could think of. And I tell people, as horrific as that sounds, I had checked out of my body a long time ago. Thank God for alcohol. Alcohol was my higher power, man. Alcohol was my lover. Alcohol told me I don't need nobody. Alcohol told me when to wake up in the morning and when to go to bed at night. If I was going to be in a relationship, if I wasn't going to be in a relationship. Where I was going to live, where I wasn't going to live. If I was going to work, if I wasn't going to work. It dictated every single area of my life, and I didn't even know it. I thought I was running it. But it dictated every area. I left home at 14. I was balancing checkbooks when I was 6. I didn't play with Barbie doll, hopscotch, jump rope. I didn't do any of that stuff. I had my own business at 14. I went off with a man who was 26, 11 years my senior, beat me on a daily basis. You couldn't have told me that wasn't love. That man loved me. And he kept me supplied with Southern Comfort, thought it was appropriate. I drank my Southern Comfort and he pounded on me and I said, you ain't tired, man? I want to finish watching this television program. Damn. I didn't feel no punches. I'm a little girl. You see how tiny I am? I didn't feel nothing. That was my life. 25 years of that. Drinking in hand, hanging out in clubs. I got pictures of 25 years of my life and they only took place in 3 locations. That was my house, my job, and the bars and clubs. And I thought my world was huge. Thought it was huge. And I looked flawless. My hair was done, I had makeup, my clothes were done, everything sharp. Oh, I looked good. Oh, I knew how to dress up my outsides. I made sure that I went out of my way to always look good. And I was dying on the inside. I always say I lived flatline, anesthetized, shut down, detached, unemotionally available. I was selfish, self-centered, self-seeking. Didn't know it. The world revolved around me. It was all about me. I lived in a state of victim consciousness. I blamed you for every problem I had, took responsibility for the successes. Burned bridges, did it all the time. I didn't care. Go on then, I don't need you. Yeah, you loaned me money. I'm not paying you back. You knew I was broke when you gave it to me. I don't need you tripping. I'm not paying you. That was my attitude. It was bad. It was ugly. You know, today I look in the mirror today, and I say, man, this girl looks familiar. But there's something different about her. Something different, and I can't quite put my finger on it, but I know she didn't really have too much to do with it. Man, I ran havoc through people's lives. I took what I wanted to take when I wanted to take it. Ego was huge, arrogant. I was into money, property, and prestige. Had to look good, live in the nice places, have the greatest things. Thought money was gonna make it all. Of course, I did any other extracurriculum activity as they talk about today. Anything that was there was available, I did it. Oh, well, I had a good old time. I thought I was having a great time until I was about 24 years old. Something happened. My lover, my companion, my friend, I always said, betrayed me. Alcohol flipped the switch, man. I heard an old-timer say this, and it has stuck with me ever since. She said, incomprehensible demoralization is a whole lot of things. My whole life is incomprehensible and demoralizing. I remember when I did my first inventory, my sponsor's mouth dropped. I've had guns pointed to my head. I've been gang raped. I've been sodomized. I went to juvie. I've been in and out of hospitals. I had a rough life. Demoralizing? Incomprehensible? Are you kidding me? I thought that's what life was. But she said those things are a whole lot of things. But when you can't get drunk and you can't get sober, is the worst place for an alcoholic like me to be in. And that's what happened when I was 24. I woke up and I saw the sun and it hurt my face. I ain't never felt the sun before in my life. It burned me. I don't know what that was. It bothered my eyes. I always slept with Cousin It. I was always sleeping with Cousin It. So what? Truth be told, those are the good ones. You can get a whole lot from Cousin It's. I'm a manipulator. I'm a gamer. I'm gonna go out with Cousin It's, man. But now I'm waking up with them and I'm noticing. I didn't like that too much. It was all right when I didn't notice. I was walking into the bars and I heard, look what the trash brought in. I can't tell you when they started saying it, but I remember when I heard it. I didn't know what to do about that. I was pregnant on my 4th child. I had always lost children before. I didn't even know I was pregnant. My womb was always so polluted and so toxic because I was always so malnourished and so anesthetized that I never even knew I was pregnant. I would only notice after it would drop. And I would look and I would go, oh my, I was pregnant. And I would clean it up and keep on walking. But now I'm feeling this thing inside of myself and I don't quite know what to do about that. I ain't never felt that before. And I didn't know what to do about that. I came up with bright ideas. I stopped going to work. I stopped paying the rent. I mean, life started getting ugly. It started getting pretty bad. And I was still trying to manage, control, hustle, handle, do it, do this, do that. Plan A, plan B, plan Z. It was getting pathetic. I didn't want to take a bath anymore. The water hurt my skin. I couldn't look in the mirror anymore. It was disgusting. I didn't know who was looking back at me. I was bouncing back and forth from my dad's house to my grandmother's house, and I couldn't get a grip, is what was happening. I wanted to get a grip. And I don't know why this is my bottom, but this is my bottom, so here it goes. I'm pretty embarrassed, actually. I was with the father of that child that day. Him and I hung out with one another. We left each other. I forgot something. To this day, I don't remember what I forgot. I went back to where he was, and he was sleeping with a guy. And it wasn't kind of, sort of. I say my God has a sense of humor, because I've been through a whole lot in my life. But why is it that I walk in with my boyfriend sleeping with a guy, and I'm like, I'm done. I can't handle that. You can put a gun in my mouth, but not that. That's funny. I think that's funny. God was like, this will get her. It sure did, well, that jacked me up. Oh my goodness. I looked at him, I said, I guess you want to be with him, you don't want to be with me anymore. And I left him. I was living in Queens at the time. And I walked that aimless walk that we all do. That walk where we have no idea where we're going and what we're doing. And I walked and I walked. I remember the snow was up to my knees. And I ended up in a church on Parsons Boulevard. And I remember it like yesterday. It don't matter how many times I share it, I can feel it. And I don't ever want to forget it. That moment of desperation. I sat down in that church. I can't tell you if there was mass or if there were people in that church, but I felt an energy. And I said that prayer, the prayer that we all say, a prayer that is different than any other prayer. It's a prayer that comes from the depth of my soul. I said, God, please allow me to feel the peace that I feel in this church inside of me. It always brings tears to my eyes because I get so grateful that I've been given that gift. And the thing was that I wasn't asking for it forever. I didn't want it for a month or a year. I just wanted 1 second from my skin to stop crawling and my head to shut up and my stomach to start turning, just stop for 1 second. That's all I wanted was 1 second. Shh. Just shh. That's it. Just shh for a minute. I left there. I went to my father's house in Brooklyn. I told him I had a problem. It wasn't like he didn't know it, but I finally said it. And my father said, with all the love that a father can have for his daughter, he was watching me slowly kill myself, and there was nothing he could do about it. He said, but you stand in the middle of a crossroad. There's 3 directions you're headed. You're so close to them, you could taste them and you can smell them. And that's jails, mental institutions, and death. There's another road, this thing called recovery, and you don't know anything about it. I don't know anything about it. It seems dark and mysterious. But if you give it a try, and if it doesn't work out, the other 3 will be waiting for you. And I got on a Greyhound bus, and I headed out to beautiful sunny California, where I thought everybody was sober. I would say California is the sober place to be. And actually, it's because of a tradition that you have, which is attraction rather than promotion. I have a mother who is 20 years sober and a cousin who is 20 years sober. And they would bring me to these meetings when I would come and visit. And I would drink before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. And at no time did I ever think the seed was being planted or that I was even paying attention. But when I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, I remembered the faces of the people of the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. I remembered that gleam in your eye, that belly laughter, that genuine laughter that I had never experienced before in my life. I remember the smiles, the camaraderie, and the warmth in the rooms. And more importantly, I remembered that you never shunned me, shook your head at me, or sucked your teeth at me, or tried to shove a pamphlet down my throat. That's so important. Because my ego and my arrogance was so huge that I truly believe that had you had done that, I would have been willing to die out there before I proved you right. As I said, I got on that Greyhound bus. I detoxed on that bus. I threw up on that bus. I shook on that bus. I sweated on that bus. I don't even want to do that again. I had my last drink in El Paso, Texas. I couldn't take the shakes anymore. And I arrived in downtown Los Angeles on March 29th, 1990, wearing a size 1 pair of pants with 2 pants underneath, huge sweatshirt, 4 months pregnant. The baby had already died in my belly. I didn't know it at the time. And my mom picked me up and took me directly to the rooms of Alcoholics Anonymous. Man. Went to Crenshaw, Lano, still my home group. I was in South Central, man. I'm a Manhattan girl. I was like, oh, this is scary. I'm a Manhattan girl from the west side, man. Oh, no, South Central. What color I got on? I was scared. And we came into the room, we came halfway in, and my mom turned around to walk out, and I asked her where she was going, and she said, "This is as far as I can go with you." And she turned me over to the very people who had saved her life. I always say I feel like a baby in a baby basket left at the doorsteps of Alcoholics Anonymous. My, oh my. I came into that room and I didn't want to stand up as a newcomer, and I remember people when I came in saying, "Hey baby, how you doing? We've been praying for you." And I sat in the back. I thought I'd blend in with the rest of y'all like I had been here for a while. And there was a woman taking a cake, Marcy. And when she got done taking her cake, she walked to the back of the room and she said, "Girl, you will stand up and state your name and your disease." That was truly my introduction to Alcoholics Anonymous. You know, I always love to share about my experience coming in because when I think about it, all of my ideas were so short-lived, and I'm really grateful for that. I never had an opportunity to think on my own. Any bright idea I came up with was nipped in the bud immediately, like not wanting to stand up. Right after that, she went over there and told me to stand up. I remember at a meeting, it was an 8 o'clock meeting, I turned to somebody because they wanted me to go to some recovery home, because I had nowhere to live. But I said, I'm not doing that. I'm going to get a job, get an apartment, and then I'll go to those meetings. I'll be fine. The meeting ended. I went to stay at somebody's house that I met at the meeting. My mother's sponsor showed up early in the morning, knocked on the door, and introduced herself. She said, "Good morning. My name is Frida. I am your mother's sponsor, and I'm here to take you back to New York City." I said, "I beg your pardon?" She said, "I understand you got an idea. You want to go to meetings?" That's what she said. "You want to get a job, get an apartment, and go to meetings?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "You ain't doing that here. Because this is how it goes. When you drive your mother crazy, you drive me crazy, and we ain't having it. So you can take little bright ideas back on to New York City." Needless to say, I ended up in the 12-step mini house. I didn't go back to the Greyhound bus station. You know, it's funny, I have a contract out for my life. When I tell people for me to drink is to die, I don't mean it symbolically. It's a reason why I don't want to go back to New York. There's a Colombian that I owe 2 kilos to. The reason why he didn't take my life yet was because he knew me since I was a baby. But it was close. And I literally went back and made amends to this man. And what he said to me was that the amends that you make to me is that you stay sober. And the day you don't is the day your life belongs to me. So when I tell you for me to drink is to die, I'm not saying it because they sound cute. I got a reason to do what you tell me to do. Somebody said, "Do you really believe he would do it?" I'm like, I'm not taking the chance. They were tough on me. Yes, they were. You know, they were very tough on me. We call it Nazi AA or old school AA. I know they did it to me. They needed to do it to me. I am what they say, run riot. I can't even do that. I got a Latina tongue. You give me an inch, I take a mile. I'm a manipulator, man. I'm a gamer. They knew who they were talking to. Don't play with me. I didn't play with my drinking. I came here to save my ass, not my face. They told me you either want to live or you want to die. You either live in your disease or you live in your recovery. Don't waste my time. This is what you do. I tell you, any idea was always short-lived. They gave me the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. They told me it was a textbook. It was meant to be studied. It was not a novel. They told me I had to admit to my innermost self that I was truly alcoholic. I needed to examine my relationship with alcohol. How do I do that? By listening to the similarities and not the differences. I needed to get honest for the first time in my life. The only step I needed to do 100% perfectly was step 1. So they told me, don't be confused. Better take a look. Alcohol stopped working a long time ago. They sat me in the front and they told me to sit down, shut up and listen. Take the cotton out of your ears, put it in your mouth because your best thinking got you here. And something happened when I sat in the front. You disrobed me. You told my secrets. You took away my excuses and my earbuds. I was sitting in a room with gamers, hustlers, liars, players. They were like, what? You ain't telling me nothing? You told me I could no longer be a victim? I love Alcoholics Anonymous because of the variety and the color that's in the rooms. It didn't matter where I came from. The only requirement is a desire to stop drinking. The one place that I can go that you didn't throw me away, it didn't matter where I came from, what my resume looked like. I needed that. I hear people today talk about meetings and people in the meetings. I'm like, are you kidding? Could you imagine if they talked about me when I got here? I remember I used to keep coming back because they had some crazy people in the meetings. I know this lady had 20 years, and all she would do is go, I was like, yo, if she could do it, come on, man. I'm telling you, that got my attention. Guy walking up and down the room just talking to himself. He was sober a lot of years. I'm like, he got what? 15? Oh, come on. I could do this. I could do this, man. I'm grateful they didn't let me talk about nobody. I couldn't complain about nobody, talk about nobody. They go, what that got to do with you and your recovery? That's what they told me. I'd be like, did you see her outfit? What that got to do with you and your recovery? I had to hang out with the women. I hated you women when I got here. Of course, I hated my mother. I don't want to hang out with you women. Tell me the truth, guys. Be like, you so cute, keep coming back. I always say, I always love to share this because I hung out with the women. I remember saying, I never prostituted before. That's a yet for me. Women be like, oh, really? Let's see. You never, went to a club, smiled at a guy, he bought you a drink, you went home with him. I was like, yeah. They're like, you a hoe. I love that. I was like, well, there goes that idea. I tell you, all my ideas were short-lived. I've had to learn how to put one hand in God and one hand in Alcoholics Anonymous. I have done the uncomfortable until it became comfortable. The road gets narrow. Theresa came here with no coping skills. I came in here emotionally an infant. I had to learn the true nature of my disease and that my disease is centered in my thinking. Why would I rely on it to help me stay sober? I have a spiritual malady. That's why I'm selfish. Nobody ever asked me what I wanted to do in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I thank you for that. Don't ask me what I want. I don't ask newcomers what they want. I know what you want. You want to get loaded. They didn't ask me. They told me, do that. Sweep the floor. Put up the chairs. Today, people are real sensitive. Oh, that's a bit harsh. I needed you to talk to me like that. I'm grateful that you had the courage to do it. And as a result, I've been able to live one day at a time. I lost my grandmother when I was 6 months sober. That was painful. And I put one hand in God and one hand in Alcoholics Anonymous. 5 years sober, I lost my house, my dream house with a new car, sleeping in a car, 5 years sober. That's where I say I truly met my higher power, butt naked, alone, with a white flag up my ass. That's painful. I haven't been confused since who's running the show. Life has been in session. I lose jobs, I lose people. My mother's sick with strokes and Alzheimer's. I tell my mother what day it is 47 times a day, and I'm a daughter to my mother. Because she gave me a gift called compassion. I have a father who has Parkinson's and emphysema. Do I want Daddy to be okay? Yes, I do. But she gave me a gift, and it's called patience and tolerance. And I'm selfless, and I think about what he's going through. And I'm a daughter to my father today. I have a brother who 20 years ago would have told you he never had a sister. And today he lives on my block. I got keys to his apartment, and I care for the most two precious things in his life, which are his two boys, Everett and Maddox, who are 9 and 4. And they love their titi. I am a sister. I am an aunt. My uncle recently told me he was dying. He had 3 to 6 months to live. That was in June, and on December 15th, he took his last breath, and he was my biggest abuser. And you gave me a gift called forgiveness, and I danced with my uncle. I danced with that man till he took his breath. I put one hand in God and one hand in Alcoholics Anonymous, and I didn't take a drink. Sometimes they say we don't want to scare the newcomer, but they told me we are not promising you no bed of roses. Takes work. Find the God and find one quick. You need to know there is one, and you ain't it. That's what they told me. And I found one. I am not blocked from the sunlight of the Spirit, and I don't say it out of arrogance. I work hard for it. I don't work on my character defects. I ask God to remove them because I can't manage or control them. Man. Life's in session. I lost my job when my uncle died. I haven't been working. The only thing I ask God for today is a house, because I'm always housing a bunch of drunks, and because I'm a sponsor today, and I'm a sponsee today, and I love being of service and take care of so many people in my family, and I'm like this little 2-bedroom thing, and everybody looks for thank you, just a corner to sleep in. And the thing is, and the beauty of that is they're willing to just lay on the little corners in the house, just to be there. Man, so much I love to share. My time is up. As I said, I've been traveling and sharing the gift of hope. And I love this program so much. Look at me. I am a woman today of dignity and integrity and grace. I am a lady. I have courage and the gift of acceptance and forgiveness. You put the plug in the jug and you're left with living life. And that is the gift that Alcoholics Anonymous has given me. A drunk like me. I was told that it's a precious gift. A gift unearned. And you better polish it, water it, nurture it, and take care of it. Don't you ever take it for granted. And very quickly, I love to share the example of my day, and I'll sit down, because this is definitely a miracle. It's certainly out of character for me. I say I want to buy a blouse. And I get ready to go buy the blouse, and the phone rings. And I am present for that conversation. I'm not tapping my foot saying I want to go buy the blouse. I'm present and I am of service. And I hang up and I get ready to go, and somebody knocks on the door. Then I sit back down and I am of service. And they say, hey, where were you going before I got here? I said I was going to go buy a blouse. They go, I'm going to go with you. And we get in the car, and 4 more people start walking up to my house. And I go park the car. And at the end of the day, somebody comes over, and they say I was at the store, and I saw this blouse. And I was thinking of you. That's how I live my life today. I live in the now and in the moment. That's how the character, the miracle is that they showed up with the blouse was that I was present and that I was listening and being of service. So I was taught that you gave me a purpose. My primary purpose is to stay sober and to carry the message. And if I continue to do that, I will always have a roof over my head, food in my stomach, and clothes on my back. So I'm going to stay teachable, stay humble, keep an open mind, be willing, and be honest. And I'm going to keep coming back one day at a time. Thank you so much for my life, you guys. Thank you.